What are you saying, geezers? The Marvel Snap patch is here. It is out. The patch notes are here. Give the video a like if you're excited. Friendly battles are now here. Battle mode is here. You can now change your name once every 30 days. Zabu is now in Series 5 of the Token Shop. There has been a voice over volume slider added to the settings menu. There's now a new effect for Ghost Rider when there's no card to play. And now we're on to the balance update. Worth noting, I'm also going to be showing you a Twitter post from one of the developers, which confirms there's more balance changes coming next week to 2 big cards. Because the balance updates are very, very small indeed. Leader is the first card, and it is a big change. It has gotten a rework. It is now 6 energy, 7 stats. On reveal, copy all cards your opponent played to the location to the right, but on your side. The dev note says, Leader is a prominent finisher in the current Snap meta. We're not happy with some of the card choices and play patterns he encourages, especially his strength against other 6-cost cards. We're changing Leader to only copy cards played at the location to his right, with more base power to compensate. We hope this change will reward clever predictions and reduce the frustration of playing against him. This is a great change. Now, Leader's still going to be probably a decent card. You're going to have to build around it a lot. Most importantly, though, it's no longer just a card where you go into the final turn and you say, I beat everything but Leader. Because Leader's going to be far more predictable. The best way to play Leader, I would wager, is in a couple of decks. Maybe if you play some kind of board clog deck to fill your opponent's left location. You play Leader at the far left to get ahead there on turn 6. And if you're ahead in the middle location and you have more empty slots than your opponent does, then Leader's going to win you the game. So there's a lot of things you need to bear in mind. You need to be getting ahead with Leader, but you also need to, on turn 6, be already ahead in, for example, the middle location if you play Leader to the left, or the right location if you play Leader to the middle. And you also have to make sure that you have more empty slots in that location, because otherwise your opponent could sequence it to beat Leader. Let's say they play 3 cards and you only have 2 slots left. They could play their big 12-point card as their 3rd card, and you wouldn't get a copy of that with Leader. Similar to how you could always beat it. So there's a lot of things going on there. I don't know if the card's going to be any good. It's certainly a lot more interesting. And most importantly, it's going to be a lot less frustrating to play against, because it's going to be way more obvious that it's coming. It's going to be worse at winning those 8-cube games. And most importantly, again, it's just not a card that randomly appears and just beats you, which has never been fun. There is another balance change, only one. That's Wolverine. 2/2, when this card is discarded or destroyed, regenerate it at a random location with +2 power. So previously Wolverine was a 2/3. When it was discarded or destroyed, it would just be replayed. So it's less points if you don't discard it or destroy it by 1. But if you just discard it or destroy it once, it's already playing for a point more. If you can do it twice, it's already playing for 6 points. So Wolverine looking like a very serious card indeed. Of course, in a discard deck, you'd only be able to discard it once. But if you can then destroy it as well, then it's looking pretty good. Obviously, you could like beast it in theory and like discard it multiple times, but realistically, you're only being able to discard it once. Is that going to be now worth a consideration in a discard deck? I would wager no. I think Wolverine, though, in a destroy deck does look much more interesting, though. DevNote says, Wolverine sees virtually no play at the moment, which is a bummer given how iconic he is. We're giving him a substantial buff to reward players for activating his effect and create new deck building options at both low and high collection levels. They've also updated his text from play to regenerate to better reflect his gameplay functionality. This is purely a flavor and clarity choice. Also, in addition to Wolverine, a few cards use the word play in their text but don't actually play anything. This small update aims to avoid players misinterpreting how these cards interact with triggers that specify playing a card. That's Hela and Jubilee. And Sentry is now using more consistent language for similar effects. A couple of location updates. The Raft, removing the word draw for accuracy. Vibranium Mimes, removing a card for brevity. So, only 2 balance changes. As I said, there is a couple more we're going to take a look at in a minute. The leader change I'm really happy with. Whether it's good or not remains to be seen. Wolverine is also a really surprising and welcome change. I do think this card looks pretty good. It is a bit of a buff to Galactus decks in theory, although, of course, Wolverine isn't actually very popular in Galactus decks at the moment anyway, because it gives up the game that you are playing Galactus, and it also means that you're unlikely to have initiative. You want to be going second with Galactus, right? So Wolverine not really seeing play there. But now Wolverine suddenly in Destroy decks, if you can destroy it twice, it's playing for 6 points. That's pretty damn nice, particularly combined with a card like Venom. I can see that being pretty spicy indeed. We'll take a quick look at the bug fixes at your own leisure if you want to just have a quick look at those. And we'll take a look at this tweet. The new patch includes balance changes, but not to Surfer or Zabu. They started overperforming after we locked the changes a few weeks ago. Fortunately, we now have the ability to adjust balance without a new patch, and are planning to adjust those cards in a week or so. Okay, so some good news. Zabu and Surfer are getting nerfed next week at some point, it seems like. And in the future, we're not going to have to wait necessarily a whole month for balance passes, because they're going to be able to do it with just like a hotfix as opposed to like a whole patch. Now, looking at the other tweets from Glenn Jones, who is the principal game designer at Second Dinner, it does look as though that these changes will come when other content's being added to the game. So our best prediction is going to be next week when the new Battle Pass card and new season starts with Modok. That seems like the most likely time to see changes to Zabu and Silver Surfer. I'm really happy they are getting changed. Of course, it would have been nice if they got changed with this current balance patch, but the fact that they tweeted this out yesterday, like a day before the balance patch, that they're being open, honest, and communicating clearly is all we can really ask for. So big up to Glenn Jones and the Second Dinner team for this tweet. So that is the patch. Smaller than a lot of us were expecting. I think we can all be in agreement that we're happy to see Leader gone. And actually the new version of Leader looks pretty exciting and interesting with that big chunky body. The Wolverine change is wonderful. However, there is a big card on here for me, which I would love to see having caught nerf, and that is going to be Aero. A lot of you know I really, really despise Aero as a card. It's 5 energy, 7 stats. I think it should be 6 energy, and probably less stats than 7. I think it's giga busted. Just that ability to be able to just move all your cards to one location on the final turn. Its base power is kind of irrelevant a lot of the time, because you're playing Aero into the location you're losing. But she also, if you really want to just play her for points on turn 5, you can. So she just has no downside. I think the card is very, 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 very ridiculous, and I think it needs a big nerf. So hopefully, alongside Zabu and Surfer, we could see an Aero nerf. I doubt that's going to happen because it wasn't mentioned. But overall, the balance patches are somewhat underwhelming, but we've got more to come, which is exciting. Let me know, guys, in the comments what you think about the balance change. Do you think that this new leader change is going to still be good? Do you think it sucks? What are your deck ideas for leader to be absolutely popping off? Let me know. And make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Snap content coming in the near future. Cheers.